morning.
Oh, Paul, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence.
Oh, Drew, please, thank you for having me. Because it's never more exciting when a director's on a show, I find.
Well,
because people don't know what we do, really, sometimes.
Well, I do.
Thank you so much.
I wouldn't mind if you wouldn't mind if we could actually take a little quick look at some of your body of work. Will you do me a favor and play my favorite game, Behind the Scenes, with me?
I would be honored to.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Behind the Scenes! Okay, Bridesmaids.
Oh my gosh, so many great things happen. You know the scene where the showdown between Helen and Annie, basically with the Jordan almonds and all that, and the sweaty face. Well, the way that was achieved was Kristen Wiig just said, give me a little can of like Evian spray water. So, okay, so she would do a line and she would just spray her face. And then she'd do another line, she would spray her face again and do another line. So she just gets sweatier and sweatier and sweatier. But that was all Kristen just going like, I'm gonna use this little can of water. All
right, give it to me for the heat. My favorite movie. I mean, oh my God, I love this movie. I've seen it 25 times.
Okay, so there's a montage in the middle when they're at the bar kind of bonding for the first time and getting drunk, where they're taping their fingers together and doing all this stuff. That was them. I was literally, we were just gonna like do a bunch of funny stuff. I didn't even kind of know what it was gonna be. I said, like, let's just play around. And all of a sudden, Melissa goes, can I have a roll of Scotch tape? I go, okay. So I go off to do something else. I come back and they've taped their forks onto their hands, and suddenly they're taping their noses up with the thing. And I'm just like, okay, go. And we just shot for about a half hour of absolute madness. So.
And it makes our lives all the better. Another Melissa McCarthy movie that we all love, Spy. Give me a fly-on-the-wall moment of Spy.
Melissa did a lot of her own stunt work on that moped when we had that big chase scene.
I saw that.
Yeah,
like, is that true?
Yeah, she did a lot of that riding around. There was some harder stunts we had somebody else do, but mostly it was her. But that's how she did it.
Okay, good. Melissa McCarthy once again overcomes all odds and can do anything possible. Okay, a simple favor.
Yes.
I told you I'm in love with Blake Lively. And you told me a fun fact about her wardrobe, actually, in that movie.
Yeah, well, we were trying to figure out what her look was going to be, and I wanted her to be very, like this powerful, person. And Blake just looked over at me, and she goes, I want to dress like you. And so, because normally I have a three-piece suit. I only have a two-piece on today. But I was like, well, I would be honored if you would. And she looks spectacular in the movie, so.
Okay, finally, Freaks and Geeks.
The character of Sam Weir, played by John Francis Daley, is based on me. It's basically, that's what I wrote it for. But I was a really tall kid, and all my bullies were short. And so when we were trying to cast it, I had all these tall kids that we liked, but they weren't quite right. And then we finally came to New York and met with John Francis Daley, who was about this tall, and he looked like he was 12. But he was so good that I ended up saying, okay, we'll rewrite it so that he's not a big tall kid. He's just this, a normal-sized kid who gets bullied by kids his size. So it was supposed to be me, but it's much better as him.
Now, is there a story that actually, your first project, there's something you funded it, but it didn't go the way you planned?
Well, I used to be an actor, and I was on Sabrina the Teenage Witch in the first season as Mr. Poole, the biology. Thank you.
That contributes a lot of things.
Mitosis is, there you go. If you know the show, everybody knows that phrase. But so I did the first season, and then I always wanted to make a movie of my own. So I wrote a movie that could be cheap. And so I took all my money, $35,000 at the time, put it into this, thinking I was going to come back the next season and then get more money. And then they called me up after I finished my movie and said, oh, we're writing you out of the show. So I basically bankrupted my family to make this movie. Okay,
so that's not ideal.
No.
But something happened because of that. You met someone.
Well, Judd Apatow was an old friend of mine, and we used to be stand-up comedians together back in the 80s. And he saw the movie and really liked it, and he had just made a deal at DreamWorks because he was coming off of the Larry Sanders Show, and said, if you ever have an idea for a TV show, let me know. Well, it was in that year when I was out promoting this movie that I never got released on a college tour, I wrote the script for Freaks and Geeks, and then I sent it to Judd, and we got it made.